Hello and welcome to Expat American. I am the Expat American, and expat is short for expatriate, which simply means you're a person who no longer lives in your country. And today we are in Russia, and we're going to go inside a Russian flat and see how Russians live in the city of Moscow. All right, here we are in our Russian flat. This flat is, I think, built in the 70s or the 80s. So this would be a style of flat that you would see built in the 70s, 80s, 90s, something like that. Just like in America, you've got people living in newer houses, you have people living in older houses. Here in Moscow, you've got people living in newer flats and people living in older flats like this. So this would be, in my opinion, a typical older flat. Now you can see the front door we just came in behind me, and I don't know if you can tell or not from this angle, but the doors are cushioned, like cushioned leather. And that's because it gets so cold. And maybe people who live in New York are used to that. I'm from Florida, I'm not used to that. I think it's kind of cool if you touch it. It's like a little pillow, a little thin cushion of like stitched leather on the door. Now also in Russia, I've noticed people, look at this, do not wear their shoes in the house. They always take their shoes off, no matter what. It's a big no-no to walk inside with your shoes on. So that's one thing I've learned about this culture that is not the way I was raised, but I mean, it's a good idea, I would say. You've got racks to hang jackets. You've got closet space, lots of closet space by the door. Because it's such a cold place most of the year, you've got to put on your coats, you got to take off your coats, you've got to have space for your shoes. It's almost like a huge walk-in closet right by the front door for these Russian homes. Now we have in the foyer, the hall, with 3 doors, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. So it's a very simple layout, so we'll be able to go through this pretty quickly. That cabinet right there is what they call a USSR style cabinet. So it's considered an old style, and I thought it was pretty cool that the locals refer to it as USSR style. All right, here we go. Door number 1. Light switch on the wall outside of the room. In America, a lot of times you have the switch inside the room. In Russia, they often have it outside the room. Here we go. We got a bathroom. As far as Russian bathrooms go, I like this one because the toilet is actually in the room with the sink and the tub. A lot of the older style Russian flats, there's a separate closet room for just the toilet. You have to come out of that and go into the next one to wash your hands. And on top of that, they'll even have one faucet for the tub and the sink, and just has a big arm that swings over to whichever one you want. So this one's pretty nice in my opinion because you have 2 separate faucets and you've got the toilet in the room, which is pretty cool. These are heated pipes that come out of the wall in Russian bathrooms, and people hang their clothes on them to dry them out. Also, there is a washer here, but no dryer. Russians do not own dryers, at least in Moscow. And I thought that was crazy at first, but it is so dry here, they don't need dryers. Clothes dry like that. Now for door number 2, which will be the kitchen. All right, so nice little setup here. And it's basically a kitchen, just like you would see anywhere in America. A little refrigerator over here by the door. Now, windows in Russia. Pretty cool in my opinion. Here's the handle to the window. To the side, it opens normal. So pigeons can fly in and hit you in the face. But if you don't want a pigeon to fly in and hit you in the face, keep twisting up open it up, and it just cracks just like that. All right, now into room number 3, the last room, the bedroom, which is also, let me turn on the switch, the living room. It's one great room for the whole place. And so what I've seen a lot of times in these Russian flats is, it's not like that in this one, is the bed will also be foldable into a couch. Now that couch does fold into a bed, but they actually have a real full bed here. And basically you would buy furniture so at night you can turn it into a bedroom, and during the day you can flip it into a living room. Now as far as outlets go, their outlets are different. This is an American outlet. This is mine that I brought with me so I could charge my devices here while I'm here. But as you can see, this is the Russian plug. This right here is part of the Russian heating system. This will heat up the whole room. You've got this in every house, every building, every structure in Russia. And the government turns it on when it starts getting cold, sometime in September. And then when winter's over and spring is coming, they turn it off. I don't see any switches on them, except sometimes I'll see an on-off switch. But mostly what I've noticed is Russians will regulate the heat in their room during winter by opening or closing the window, which I thought was kind of strange at first. So I was thinking this is a waste of power, but that's how they do it. It just gets turned on everywhere in the whole country. And then when it's not needed, the government throws a switch and turns them all off. The baseboards in Russia are plastic, which for me, being a weekend warrior, is kind of strange. I've made so many baseboards out of wood, and you actually have a piece you can remove here. If you pop that panel out, that's where you screw it in, and you pop the panel back. So it's all preformed plastic. So there you have it, a typical Russian flat. So what do you think? Do Russians live like Americans when it comes to their in-home living or not? Answer that question in the comments down below. Click like and subscribe, click the bell notification, and next time we're going to look into a little bit of American and Russian history if you want to click the next video.